Hello everyone. It's been a while. 4.5 months or so to be exact. Yeah, now that I have more time on my hand, it's time to try something new. Yeah, the delay on this stream was kind of bad. I was setting everything up last night. Everything worked fine. And then this morning, OBS needed an update. NVIDIA drivers needed an update. And even now, something is still not working properly, but it is what it is. So yeah. Well, since changing to a new computer as well, I've also lost all my OBS settings and configurations, which is great. But it was a pretty big mess since I did not maintain it properly. So everything is now pretty bare bones. I guess I'll have to do. So, starting with a fresh slate, I guess I can consider this as a debut stream, as some would call it. Yeah. So, I guess let me start by introducing myself, if for those who don't know who I am. My name is Jeremy, and I go by the handle of Cryto. I've been using this handle for over 20 years now, and I'll be continuing to use this. As a lot of regulars know me, I am a bit of a gamer and have been playing games since probably the age of 5 or 6. Going over the languages I know. English, obviously. I've broken this down into 4 categories: reading, writing, speaking, English, and I'll give them a grade. So my reading for English is probably S tier. Writing is about A tier. Not the best with words. Speaking, I would say it's S tier. I mean, I can speak properly. And comprehension, S tier. Using this as a baseline, let's see what other languages I know. For French, this is pretty much whatever I retained from learning from school. Reading, F tier. Writing, F tier. Speaking, also F tier. Comprehension, F plus. I do understand a bit of... I can pick out a few French words here and there, but probably not too much. Chinese. Chinese, specifically Cantonese. I would say reading would be D-. I can read quite a few characters here and there. Writing, I don't really remember the characters too much off the top of my head, so writing's pretty poor, although I do know the stroke orders. So that brings it from an F to an E. Speaking, E plus. I can speak, but I choose not to. Due to probably not having enough practice. And comprehension, C-. I can understand Kanto fairly well, for the most part, yeah. Japanese. This is an interesting one. My reading is also a D- because a lot of the characters I know share the same thing with Chinese, except that this one probably should be a D due to knowing how to read hiragana, katakana. Although I'm not too fast at it. Writing is E plus. Speaking would be a D plus. I cannot really speak Japanese, also due to lack of practice. And comprehension, S minus. I can actually understand quite a bit of Japanese, so that makes me pretty much a one-way translator. Going to things I like and dislike. Starting with the things I like. Probably multitasking. Multitasking has been something that keeps me going. Always doing something or doing multiple things at once always gives me adrenaline and work towards a goal or multiple goals at the same time. Doing nothing actually makes me antsy and wanting to do something. Running a 4-monitor setup to min-max efficiency is pretty much what I do, as seen in this video before on my channel. Yeah, it maximizes efficiency and information intake. Other things would be games, of course. Pretty much anything from like rhythm games to MMOs to shooters, strategic games like Mahjong, just anything that gets my mind going. Another big thing, as a lot of people would know, anime. I don't have a list of like top 10 animes compiled, because like I have over 3,000 animes under my roster. Just to name a few of them, probably Hanasaki Iroha, Made in Abyss, Bunny Girl Senpai, and Imoto Sai Irebai. Food is another thing that's pretty good. Just trying out different flavors and textures, expanding my palate. This is one of my favorite ramens when I was in Japan, from Mengyo. It's smoked chashu on top with a sea bream broth. Yeah. And last, probably learning. Just new things, keeping up to date with everything, trying new things just to keep me motivated to continue doing things. Dislikes that I probably have, not too many, to be honest. Yeah, some things I don't like is probably dishonesty and disingenuosity, which is not even a word. But probably better to put it just being disingenuous. These are traits which bring down the modern world. Usually these in jokes are probably fine. Like jokes are for comedic effect. But when people start making it the reality, it's kind of cringe. And the other thing I don't like is probably, doing nothing. Doing nothing is kind of boring. Yeah. So being such a tech nerd, and probably, not much of a gamer anymore, but a historic gamer at least. A lot of things I use or do revolves around tech. So here's a bit of history about myself. This might make some people feel very old if they recognize some of these things, so sorry about that. Okay. So the first time I ever touched a computer was back in 95 or 96. This computer was running an operating system called MS-DOS. That's disk operating system. For those who know, this looks exactly like your modern command prompt or terminal application. There are no fancy graphics or user interface, windows, heck, not even a mouse to navigate around. Just using commands to get around. I'm not sure where I learned all these commands at a young age, but eventually I figured out how to navigate to different drives, launch programs, and started playing games we owned on floppy disks. Like floppy disk, like that looked like this. Like some games that I played back in the day was probably never heard of these, but Commander Keen and The Lion King. These are both platformers that are pretty old, but pretty nostalgic. Later, when the internet was introduced, the world of knowledge finally opened up. 56K internet. It's also known as dial-up, for those who know. This was pretty much a game changer. It let us look up things and learn about the world, and even communicate with each other. What the browsers looked like back in the day. Yeah, things like MSN Messenger and ICQ. By the way, these are chat apps. Nowadays we have like Discord, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, all the other social media stuff. Yeah, even games that were Flash games as well. Flash games like Mr. Fancy Pants and web browser games like Neopets, if anyone remembers these. Those were a thing as well. Games like StarCraft and Age of Empires that used to only be played on LAN now can be played online with other people. But best of all, MMOs and online RPGs were a thing. So going to the one game that took about 8 years of my life, this MMO made by Kipsoft, developed back in 1997, is an MMO called Tibia. I probably played it for more than 8 years over the span of my life, but that's fine. I spent a good at least 8 years on it. And it looks like something like this. You get your standard window, top-down view. You get to move around with your arrow keys. Here's your health bar, your equipment menu, inventory, your skills, and the general chat. The main draw of this game was the ability to fight other players, known as PvP. Now you think PvP is nice and all, but this game, this form of PvP is missing in most modern games. This game uses an open world PvP system where you can kill players anywhere in the world, except for protection zones, such as temples or supply depots, and depots where you store all your items. Attacking players will mark the aggressor with a white skull. And killing a killing a player without a skull grants you an unjustified kill count. And this white skull will be active for 10 minutes and you cannot log off. Closing the game will just keep your character in game. After 10 minutes and being out of combat for a while, the skull will disappear. Getting 3 unjustified kills within a month, if I remember correctly, grants you a red skull. If you're in a party, with someone else, you will have a green skull, and attacking each other is fine. If someone without a skull attacks a player with a white or red skull, then they get granted a yellow skull, which is only visible to the person being attacked. And if you kill a person with a yellow skull, there's no penalties. When you die in Tibia, you are guaranteed to drop your backpack with whatever you're carrying right now. And you can also potentially drop your gear, which is kind of expensive to die. You also lose a percentage of your total EXP points and your skills. So experience lost, if it falls below the threshold of the current level, you can actually downgrade in levels, overall levels and your skill levels, which that is pretty much negative gains. The first 8 levels are played in a place called Rookguard, which is a PvE zone, and once you hit level 8, you can choose your class of a knight, druid, sorcerer, or paladin, and get sent to the mainland. So now that you know all of this, pretty much there were a lot of guilds and clans that were in this game, and there was a lot of mafia behavior. Yeah. So there are people hunting each other, and you can actually be killed enough times to be sent back to Rook. Rook, which being Rookguard. Yeah. Fun game. But all the modern games today, they don't have these kind of penalizing game mechanics, which is unfortunate, but I mean, I guess people don't have as much time nowadays, although gamers would still love this kind of mechanic. It induces a lot of behavior, interesting behavior. Throughout the same time, I was also playing other games. Another big game that I played is MapleStory. It looked like this back in the day. Now it's almost a completely different game. Yeah, but even now, to this day, I play Reboot, which is the modern MapleStory. And I'm pretty much level 280 out of 300. So getting there. Yeah, I've probably spent about another 6 to 7 years on this game. And I've also spent some time in private servers, like Maple Legends and Dream MS, and a lot of other private servers. I even was a GM for one of the private servers for a little bit. This introduced me to a lot of good friends I still hang out with from time to time, even now to this day. Outside of the PC space, going to consoles. I actually grew up with quite a bit of consoles, actually. Yeah, like starting with the NES, skipping over the SNES because I didn't have access to that. Went through some portable consoles like the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and then back to the home console, N64. And then going back to probably around middle school, high school, PSP, DSi. High school, I think I remember grabbing a Vita and also a PS3. And then after college, university era, finally got a 3DS, a PS4 Pro, which the PS4 Pro I only played 2 games and then I sold it. And also a Nintendo Switch, which I also bought, did not play a single game on it, and sold it on the same day I bought it. Yeah. Like around this era, I spent more of my time on PC, so I probably didn't bother with consoles much. I learned how to build PCs through probably just tinkering with parts. Like back in the day, you had 2 PCs that were running DOS, which I don't remember what CPU was in there. Then going through a Pentium 1 with running Windows 95, a Pentium 2 and 3, which ran Windows 98, and then a Pentium 4, which probably ran Windows 2000 or Windows NT, but that version sucked, so I downgraded them all to Windows 98. And then after that, there was a dual-core system somewhere in the picture. These are all computers shared by family, like 3 other siblings and parents. So we did, if everyone wanted to use at the same time, we did need quite a few of these. Pentium dual-core, which then we eventually got a Core 2 Duo running XP. XP was actually a good operating system. And a lot of systems, like old systems nowadays, even in like governments and like banks and all those, they still run Windows XP because their applications were designed on it and they have never upgraded it. What came next? Oh, yeah. The first computer I built with actual parts was a Core 2 quad system, which I still don't remember what the CPU was. And then the first personal computer for myself after earning income, or earning whatever I could at the time, I built a AMD Femon 2 machine. And that lasted me a good 8-9 years. Beef and Poppin'. Oh, right, Poppin'. Yeah, these ran Windows 7, which is another great operating system. Notice that there was something missing in between. That was also pretty bad. Cough, cough, Vista. And then after that, after 8 years, upgrading to a 4790K. A 4790K with 16 gigs of RAM and a 1080 Ti. That lasted me a good 6-7 years before it's upgraded. Is it? 4 to 9. Yeah, good 5 years. 5-6 years. The legendary 479K, yes. Yeah, it was a great time. This was a game changer, going from a Femon 2 with the GPU, if I remember, it was a it's a Radeon 7770, 1 gig of VRAM, to a 1080 Ti with 11 gigs of VRAM, overclocked. But yeah, next after that, I probably built my previous computer, which also used for 4 to 5 years. Core i9-9900K with 64 gigs of RAM this time, and initially used a 2080 Ti, which eventually I upgraded to my current 3080 Strix Gundam Edition. And very recently, probably within the past month or two, I built a new computer, which was 5 years after this one. And that's using a Ryzen 9 9900X with 96 gigs of RAM, and I reused my graphics card. This is actually my first, not AMD, but, well, Ryzen machine I've ever owned and built. Yeah. Other people that know me, I'm also an avid rhythm game enjoyer. Even as to having multiple rhythm game setups and running a private community of rhythm gamers, for those who know. Some games I run are home versions. Would be like Beatmania 2DX. Yes. Sound Voltex. Poppin' Music. And probably DDR. Yeah. Other controllers I own for games would include like Tunithm, Ongeki, and I either own or owned before or had possession of was My. There was also a DTX kit for like a drum kit for drumming things. Oh yeah, there was also Taiko, but I didn't add one in here. Taiko no Tatsujin. Now that we've gone through a bit of the history, what am I going to do moving forward with streaming? Let's go through some goals for streaming. Oh, 96 gigs of RAM. What do I use that for? Don't worry. I use it for my 10,000 Chrome tabs. No. I actually I do consume probably 40 gigs on regular use, and for certain use cases, I use it for caching. Yeah. Yeah, goals for streaming. I've been streaming since 2020 on and off, but recently streamed for a whole year of 2024, if some of you caught that. With that, I've learned a lot about streaming and how, and I guess, yeah, I'm changing up the format of what I want to do. My main focus will be aimed at creating content instead of gaming. From time to time, I'll be playing games on stream. Not going to be too common nowadays, or at least not yet. We'll be focused more on content creation, stuff like mindset and thought process. I would like to center my content around freedom of thought. A modern person on the internet usually consumes media only without thinking of what they're consuming. I would like to encourage people to think for themselves, providing different perspectives and angles of topics, letting the viewer decide what they would like to believe. This may even come to a perspective that I haven't presented, and that would be great. A lot of questions I'll be tackling on this topic are probably, what is the subject matter? What is a general consensus of that? Why is that the general consensus? Like, how did it get to this point? Like, what factors cause this? Like, these kind of questions. There's probably more, but like, in general, this gets the person thinking. Like, not only just what the subject matter is, but why is it also this way? Other content content that will be used at the beginning to facilitate this is probably React content. Yeah. I'll probably break down content that I use in depth and analyze it, certain aspects of it that people may never think about or when they're just consuming the content. And probably subject-specific videos, like content. I'll probably create videos on the side about a specific topic if I've covered it enough and have a good basis of what it is. Since I'm doing this probably from scratch, I don't have a solid baseline, which this will solidify a baseline, and then therefore I'll go by that standard, which this baseline can also change from time to time. For my live streams, I'll be streaming on Twitch and probably YouTube. You can find those here. I'll also be attempting to create short and long form content of the streams on this YouTube channel. I have not decided yet if I'll be releasing shorts on this channel or creating a new one yet, but we shall see when that time comes. As for my socials, I don't really use social media too often, but here are my handles in relation to this channel, like my Twitter, my Instagram, and the Discord that I've created back last year, which I'll probably be updating more often. As for my personal handles, you can probably figure them out if you're interested enough. Currently working on a few other projects like a website, landing page, a lot of other small projects here and there on the side. Yeah. Also, something on the stream that I'll be doing going forward is I have a guest that I'll be introducing, and now this guest will be taking over the channel, and I will be actually retiring. So yeah, the guest right here. Yeah, I'll be retiring. Take it away, guest. So yeah, the reason why the stream also started very late is because the camera also broke and the filter is not working properly, so it will have to be this way. It is what it is. Hello everyone, for those who've never seen me before. Yeah, goodbye, Cryto. Well, hello. Where is he? This one, there. So yeah, for sometimes I'll be using my PNG avatar, but I'll probably be streaming like this now. Yeah. So yeah, this is what I look like. Specifically, one of my longtime viewers also known as Gravity Master. Yeah, wanted to know, now you know. Maybe when I clean up my room more, I'll probably, or even when I set up a dedicated streaming space, I can probably just reveal the background, who cares. But yeah, my room is a little bit of a mess right now. Yeah, so going forward, let's see. So my stream schedule, probably I plan to stream every Tuesday and Thursday evening, as well as Saturday mornings or afternoons for now. I have a release schedule planned, probably. Oh, I don't even have my release schedule, but initially I plan to do 1 week, well, 1 video a week, eventually scaling that up once I get used to video editing and producing content. Yeah. Yeah, once I build up momentum, I might decide to stream more often as well. I do think I am still like inexperienced when it comes to streaming, but can only get better from here, right? For now, you can expect me to go live and bring forward a different subject to cover. This is purely experimental, and we shall see where this goes, where we end up in a year, I guess. Yeah, there are so many things I want to do, but we have only a finite amount of time to do them. So here is a to-do list that I've created, which doesn't really fit. It goes off the screen, but oh well, that's fine. Here's a list of things I want to do, try, accomplish, attempt, and create, facilitate, or execute, or anything of in one way or another. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So bye Avatar, we got the face reveal. I mean, I never really hit it too much. Like, if you actually wanted to know what I look like, you could have kind of just social engineered me. I never really hid my contact or my socials. I never really cared about revealing them either. You saw DP10th then? Yeah. Yes. Here's a list. A lot of these are pretty random, but yeah. It is just a list. There are even typos in here, but that's fine. Don't worry about them. Yeah. This is probably going to be interesting. Yeah. If you wanted to see the list again, here you go. But yeah, I don't have anything else planned for this stream. Next stream, probably on Tuesday. I'll probably bring up a topic on Tuesday and Thursday. I'll bring up a topic, react to those. Probably stream for about 2 to 3 hours, I would say. And I'll also be setting up a system where people can send. It's pretty much a AMA, Ask Me Anything. Send me questions that I'll answer, and I'll do that on Saturday. Yeah. So just ask me any questions. I'll probably answer them on stream and probably do something else. You're on your phone, you can't even read it? Yeah. Sounds about right. By the way, this list was intended so that you don't read it. It's just a list that is so small that I tried to fill out more, but it took quite a bit of time. But yeah. Start a YouTube channel. Yes. Clearly, some of these things I've done. Some of these things I've already done, yes. Going through this list, actually. Learning a new language. Technically, I already learned a language. Travel in the itinerary. I've done that before as well. Learn how to code. I've probably learned how to code before. When do you release the sequel? What sequel? Reconnecting with an old friend, I've done that. Plant a tree, I've done that. I've had a solid morning routine for about 2 months, 3 months. One time in my life. Start a side hustle. I think I've done that. Invest in stock market. Master a new skill. A sequel for the list. Sequel for the list. Let's try to complete at least half of this first before a new list comes out. Try 50 new foods, probably. Create a bucket list. This is pretty much a bucket list, so that's done. Tune in 2DX. Build a website. I'm actually working on that right now. Learn another instrument. Instruments, I do know the piano, violin, guitar, drums. And I've touched a lot of other instruments before, like flute, clarinet, trombone. I've touched all the string instruments, viola, cello, bass. Never really liked the other ones. Yeah. I don't know what other instrument I can learn. Probably master one of them. But yeah, this is just the list. Yeah. Thanks. That's all I have planned for today, pretty much. Thanks for watching until the end. If you like to see more of where this is going, feel free to follow my streams and YouTube channels. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy the weekend. Later.